Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I am all right, not bad. It's been really wet and kind of cold out, so I could be a little better because of that, but yeah. I was well I let me see, did I read it or hear it? I think I read it. Yes, Washington State, and I had heard about this before, so I'm not sure about the dates on it, but in their state house, they have passed a bill where they want to make it legal for 13 and 15-year olds to get like abortions and transsexual surgeries and um, puberty blockers, hormones, or whatever, that type of thing, to get medical treatment without their parents' permission. Without, they don't even have to notify the child. If the child's a runaway, they want to make it so they have more money in their state to take care of, specifically was stated, the homeless trans community. They're targeting these kids. I'm telling you, that's what's going on around the world. And they want it to happen more because they're going to make money off it. They do not care about these people at all. They don't. I mean, a small part of them might, but I highly doubt that they'd open up their home or their personal life to any one of them children out on the street. Not at all. I'm sure they wouldn't. So, yeah. Whether or not it's going to be passed by the House of Representatives and the Congress in the United States, we'll see about that. But, um, I mean, yeah, put money towards getting the homeless kids off the street. But, I don't know. It's such a mess because once the child leaves the home, the state's involved. And if the child goes to school, the state's involved. So either way, either way, if you're a good parent, it won't matter. If you're a bad parent, it won't matter. It won't matter. So it's pretty horrible. I notice not all, but quite a few Skywatch communities that I listen to um, don't really like communicating with me, and see, this has been one of my passions. I had a telescope when I was a little kid. Now I have two of them, but I'm not saying I'm an expert on the stars, but I am pretty much in astrology. I did a lot of study in that area and astronomy for that reason, for people's the understanding of how that goes along in the scriptures and the other I would call it a stoic teachings or gnostic, like not necessarily maybe so much hidden, but things that have been kept from the people, those type of things. But I noticed with these communities, and I got to thinking, now, why is this? I can go anywhere else and I'm talking to people, they're talking to me. We've been talking for a long time out on here, except for this one communities that get together like that have one thing in common, and here's what I think it is. I'll tell you in a second. I think they're from families of the Masonically minded people that have had plans in play for certain modes of control using the sky and the fear tactics that are going to go on up in there. I think a lot of what the aluminum that's been put up in there I'm not sure about the strontium, barium, that type. Well, these heavy metals that could reflect holographic things for their Project Bluebeam, which I read about honestly in 1971 or two, somewhere that long ago, and have actually seen what I think that is myself. Different things. I have a red orb I took a picture of that was right outside my kitchen window and it had a gold stripe around it. I mean, it was like red orange, like my cap here. It was just about like that with a gold stripe through the middle of the thing. And it's like, okay, this is odd. And I did take a picture of it. I have it in a little video I made over on Facebook. I think I've shared it up in here too, but it was extremely weird. And some other things that I really can't prove, but anyway, so yeah, crazy. I mean, lights that looked like it would have been meteors, but they were going the wrong way. And there was thousands and thousands of them. And I sat almost all night long for 3 nights it went on. And it looked like it was coming from the south, mostly southeast a little bit, but mostly south, maybe a tenth of a degree off to the east. And I watched this stuff coming from the south heading up like that for 3 days. But the first night I was fascinated. I just watched them. I stood there for hours and hours, and then I sat in my bed and I sat by the window where I could look and just watch these things. And they felt like they might have been spirits, but it could have been Project Bluebeam. And this was probably about 10 years ago, maybe somewhere around in there, give or take a couple, So, wow, that's it was something I had never seen before. But back to these communities that have shunned me. Well, there could be several reasons, but the main reason is that they can't get away with telling untruths without me um, getting them for it. I'll tell them about it. It's like when somebody's like, oh, there's two suns, and that was Seven Spalding. He's like, two suns phenomenon, one always up in the north and one in the west. And I told him that's called refraction. Every time there's the sundown, you'll see a reflection of it on the other part of the sky. And if there's clouds, it will be even worse. Well, people don't want to hear me tell the truth about something, because if they can trick somebody into thinking they know something you don't, then you're going to give them money for doing it. It's sickening. So this has happened to me several times. And I was just sitting here a little bit ago and I'm thinking, why is that? Because I have some friends over there I know would still talk to me, but I just leave it alone. It's like, I'm not going to push it. If people want to come and look me up, they'll find me. But I'm not going to even, not that I wouldn't go where I'm not wanted, because I might even do that just to piss them off. So that's not an issue either. I don't care about that. But I do care about people lying to other people. So when I see these things or hear these things, or people say something that I know darn well isn't true, I'm going to say something about it. And that's why. So, yeah. Anyway, Oh, yeah, just another liar out on the planet. Might be telling part truths, but a lot of it's lies. And I think a lot of my discrimination is because I'm a straight female. And anything that goes outside a traditional family, I don't want around me. It's pretty simple, you know. Really. I mean, a person individually, I can deal with them and I'll like them, I'll love them as a person. I'm just saying in my life, I don't want to talk about your open relationships and whatever else you do. I don't want to hear about it because that's all it's been for the last like 3 decades. It's just been full blown bullshit. You know, why would I have to tell you that I'm straight? You know, who in cares, right? Yeah. Well, that's what they say, right? Nobody was talking about this, not like that, because people say they've been discriminated against. The only reason people would be discriminated against is if they had to push an issue on another person, and then that other person would be forced to react. I'm not pushing my straightness on anybody, you know? And, whatever, whatever. I'm a little irritated today. My big thing with these tranny men beating women and shit. I mean, my granddaughter's going through a bully, a boy. These kids are big though. Um, Telling my granddaughter he wants to slap her face, that she's a hoe and a bitch, and all these things that he'll say right in front of the teacher under his breath. And my granddaughter can't prove this stuff. That's some dangerous shit right there. When you have a adolescent in literally almost a man's body threatening you as a female. I've had that happen. I got jumped and beat up by 3 people. Well, more than that, but this one time in particular, um, similar stuff. And she's not saying nothing to this thing, you know. But anyway, the nasty shit he's been saying to her, and then saying that he wants to get physical as far as hurting her. That's some pretty serious stuff, you know. And I just heard about it today, so yeah, not too thrilled. I actually brought a little wood in this morning. It was pouring rain so hard, it's like to take the chill off in the house. Like I say, we burn LP, but which is the cleanest gas you can burn, the most efficient. Also, I wonder what these big rich people burn in their house. I'm sure their houses aren't all electric. I do have a lot of solar lights. I have outside solar light. It's a motion detector. Well, actually, we've got 2 of them, so I wonder how efficient they actually are with their carbon footprints. That would be interesting to know. Every public official and all the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, all of them that want to teach somebody else something, let's see how they do it first. If they can prove that, are they worth their money? That's what I want to know, you know? Well, nobody's worth that amount of money anyway, you know? Not when the highest wage in the United States and the average, what they call the top 1%, is like $30,000. That's ridiculous. 30 to 60. Yeah, right. You know, not when back in, geez, what was it? Um, 1976 and 7. I was making $20,000 a year. Well, $19,600 in a 3-bedroom apartment with a pool and a sauna and game room, and it was a good job. I I let my brother-in-law stay with me, who's gone now. He drank himself to death, but vodka. He'd take a half a gallon of vodka and go through like one of them in a night. But he had a lot of bad stuff happen to him in his life. So, well, anyway, he did some crazy stuff where I lived, and it wasn't acceptable. And that was the first strike against me there. It just didn't look good. But anyway, that was a really good job, though. But yeah, not when a kid is made. And I had, when they first had follow your phone calls, I just have the people at, because I worked in the office, and I just have them call me. I go out riding my horse and out in the country and drive back into the city if they needed me. And, it was pretty nice. So, yeah. Well, it was a long, long time ago. It seems like now. People say, seems like only yesterday. Not to me. I don't know what world you're living in, but I've had some days that seem like years in one day. They've been so awful that they never ended. So, no, time doesn't always move quickly. I think, too, though, the older we get, the quicker our days do move. Like a little kid, I think when you're a little kid, your days last forever. They just seem like they do. Of course, there's no difference, but, yeah. I was looking at some work boots for Doug online, reviewing all of them, seeing what people say and whatever. He needs to get some really good shoes in his life because he's got neuropathy. And I would say just this winter alone and right up until last week, he's fallen like 4 times. I fell twice this year with the bad weather. And both times I could say I didn't expect it. Yeah, if you fall, you're not expecting it. One day I kind of did the first time, but that second time really got me. The first one hurt worse, and the second time re-injured it. So I fell down backwards, caught myself with my arm. Then the second time I'm coming in and I had wood in my hand. I couldn't even remember. It hurt so bad I couldn't remember if I was carrying wood or not. By the time I got in the house, I had put it down, but I had bruised my arm. Well, I slipped. My leg slipped out and I hit the shin of my leg in the front and went sliding into the house with my head. That was a trip because of an icy porch. So, yeah, we've, I think we've got that solved, that porch thing for this year. Enclosing it. That isn't going to help though once we get outside of there, but and make kind of like a mud room. So, in between the woodshed and there. So, yeah, we'll just see. I don't know. I used to fall and it didn't bother me, but not anymore. It does hurt. you know. In fact, there was a comedian called Red Skelton, and he did this skit and he was a Christian man from Canada, comedian, always clean comedy if you look him up. He did a skit about a bum called Clem Cadiddle Hopper, and I can't remember. I think it was the skit that he'd do with Clem, but he'd come into a room and he'd just do like a judo plank, just fall backwards, and you know, like he was drunk or something, but he wasn't. He was kind of famous for his falls like that. And I would do that when I would go like to a party or something, and I'd walk in and look around for a second and then just kind of walk in and just do it, right in front of everybody. They'd be like especially if they were like buzzed or something, and they're like, whoa. And then I get up just laughing. So, yeah, that was always a good thing to do for people. I had practiced it so much and it did so much gymnastics and stuff, that wasn't anything, you know, so, except for funny. But it had to be the right room. A couple times I really got them people, especially if it was like a rougher gang of people or something. That's one way. There are two things to do. One way to break the ice, and another thing to show them like you don't need to even think about knocking me down. Kind of that attitude. Like if you're walking in, who's the most badass? You walk in there like you are the most badass. And you take control of the room. You don't leave yourself at somebody's mercy. Not the rooms I've been in. And those are the people that I've always preached to, you know, in my own way. Whatever you call preaching, talking to people with God in your heart is what I call that. Although I probably know the Bible better than anybody except for Doug. You know, I'm just saying it. Whatever. I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. Really, excuse me a moment. But, I mean, as far as that's concerned, I care what people think. I care about your feelings. Absolutely I do. I wouldn't be here talking to you if I didn't like that. Yes, I love people and I care about them. I'm just not going to put up with any nonsense anymore. No more. You know? I found these really cool tennis shoes for Doug too, though. I found these really nice boots called Iris Setters. They're a couple $100, but they're a work boot and they're like breathable. But I found like this $100 tennis shoe that's leather, but it's a walking shoe. And it looks like it's really structured well, like put together well and sewn like it's gonna last and be comfortable and so if you get good shoes and if you're not out in the mud with them or anything and take care of them, you get a couple of really good pair of shoes when you get my age and you won't need to ever buy any again, you know. So, and that's what I was looking at. He's going to be 73 on the 20th of this month. So, yeah. I almost was going to put him back on here the other day. He had some other things he was talking about. And he said, well, I said, I got it cleaned if you want to talk some more. He goes, you want me to? And I said, well, if you want to. And he had stuff to do. And I said, well, okay, another time. We'll just, do it whenever. So, if I get cut off, I'm going to leave it there, but I love you all. And sometimes it cuts me off just at a good spot where I've made my point or I've talked enough or whatever. It just happens the way it happens. Well, so yeah. Yeah. It's been a pretty good day. I got some laundry done, and like I say, I got some reviews looked at on stuff that Doug actually really needs, and sent that to him in his email. So just save him time because he's been doing some favors for me, and that's the way it works, and that's the way it should work. It hasn't always, and so far so good. Things have been pretty smooth for about, well, for a while. Not perfectly smooth, but pretty darn smooth. So I don't know. I'll keep you posted. Our friend Constantine and his wife. Hello, you two. Hope you're doing good. No, our tractor doesn't have a cab, but I thought it's funny you spell it like cabin or call it cabin. We call it cab here. Cabin here is like a shack or a shanty, or a small dwelling. So, just for the English, you know, translation for you. But yeah, I would like to trade your tractor for ours. That's for sure. All covered. And yeah, we don't have windshield wipers, but there are hydraulics for the front for the bucket. And yeah, but and there's a light on it, so there's electric, but no, it's not an electric tractor. Wouldn't that be something? That would be. We have these big ones called Steiger that are made by, I think it's International makes them. And they're these big green tractors. We have John Deere's too, but these Steigers are so cool. If I could afford to buy a tractor, well, actually, I wouldn't buy a tractor. I would buy a backhoe with a front end loader because I could do more damage with that tool. You know, that would be fun. But no, it wouldn't be good for um, raking your field or disking or planting or none of that. No. Well, I suppose it could be done, but if take off the attachments, probably. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would go. Well, I'm sure how it would go, but it would depend on how it's built, whether it has like well, you know what I mean with the connections where the hydraulic pneumatics go and all that stuff. So whether it's whatever it is, like like you have a like a 5 or a 3 point connection in the back and that type of stuff, and whether it comes apart like implements do or that type, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I think I don't know what I'm saying today. No, I do, but I'm having problems explaining it right now, even though I know it's in there. It's like the other day, I'll tell you real quick before I leave here. Doug started wearing suspenders at my recommendation because he's shaped like his pants will not stay up, and a belt was not cutting it. So, and I was trying to tell him the other day, or it was about a week ago, I was trying to think of what they were called. I could not think of suspenders. And I said something, well, just put your stirrups on, I said to him. And so then I started calling them stirrups for a while. And I knew that was not the right thing, but it sounded funny because stirrups for a horse's saddle, you know. So yeah, suspenders for a horse's. No, yeah. Anyway, you get it. So I'll leave you on that note. You all have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Thank you for joining me. Have a really beautiful week ahead. Don't let these freaks in the world get you down because narcissism is too acceptable out here. People just laying their bad moods on everybody else all the time and, you know, with their fake joy, joy, love, love bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, um, be cool, everybody. I love you. Talk to you soon.